Hey guys, Austin here from Retroverse, and today we're going to be reviewing our friend, the SEGA Dreamcast. Well, kind of also a retrospective, but I'll throw it in as a review also. Um, the SEGA Dreamcast launched in September 9th, 1999, a couple years before I was born. And this thing is amazing, and, the people in my family said that this was terrible to them. I have to highly disagree with them, even though I'm a lot younger than them. I actually really enjoy my Dreamcast. I play mine every day. This is perhaps my favorite console in my collection at the moment. It's small, it's compact, it has great visuals and everything, and it looks appealing. Now, what makes this console interesting is that it is mainly the big reason and starter to kind of why we play online games today. Now, Sega kind of had the NetLink with the Sega Saturn, but I'm not going to count that. This came with a modem right out of the box and allowed gameplay online to be so much easier. I mean, granted, it wasn't big because it was dial-up, but you gotta say, pretty impressive for the time. And it's amazing. Like, you could go online, you could you could browse the web. Sorry. You could get a keyboard, you can get a mouse, you can get a light gun. There are so many accessories to this thing. There's even a karaoke unit to this, and I don't own it, and I really do, just because it's cool. And I know that there's also a variation of the Dreamcast called I can't remember what it's called, but it's like a TV. It's called Divers 2000. Shout out to Adam Koralik for telling everyone about this and exposing it to everyone, because that thing looks amazing, and I've been trying to get one for a few years now, and it is impossible. But I like my Dreamcast either way. Now here's the controller for the Dreamcast. Granted, I already did a review on this. It's not the best. It's not the best, but for the time it came out, this is perfect. Like, there's no problem with it to me. And what's cool is that there's a VMU and there's a jump pack. I'm still looking for my jump pack. I've been looking for it. Yeah, everyone's like, oh, second analog stick. Well, think about the time it came out in 1998, before Sony's PlayStation DualShock controller really came out with the sticks. It still had the D-pad. So this was actually inspired by the Sega Saturn pad, and you can tell. Now, the big thing that catches everyone's eye is the controller has the cord coming out of the bottom. Yeah, but I mean, they compensated with that by putting this little clip here where you can put the cord, and it'll stay, and it'll be perfect. Now, the triggers feel great in everything. Granted, the thumbstick isn't perfect, but it's good. The buttons are nice. Everyone's got a problem with the D-pad. I have no problem with it. It's actually really nice and sturdy, and it's perfect. Now, I'm gonna show some games here in a minute, but not yet. I'm gonna tell my personal experience with this. With my Sega Dreamcast, I got this for my birthday, when I turned 18, and I've been playing it ever since, for over a year now. And granted, I don't have a lot of the games that are like super popular for it, but I have some pretty good ones that I actually tend to enjoy, and some pretty okay ones, some that I don't want to play, and I'll get into that with the games. But I love this thing. Like, this is basically my go-to console for when I want to play. Like, look at this. This thing looks appealing. Like, it's got like a nice, smooth, like, luxury look. Like, it looks so nice, and like, it's like telling you, put a game in me and play me. And I love it. This thing is just, it looks so cool. It's small, and they took a hint from Nintendo's N64, and they added 4 controller ports. So, if you want to play with 4 people, which you probably won't be able to nowadays, considering no one really plays Dreamcast, other than the independent scene that has grown into that, but not going to talk about that now. I'll talk about that after. Just, I don't have, when I first got the Dreamcast, I didn't get a lot. I got a couple of games that, the first 4 I'm going to show you are the ones that I picked up, just because, I thought they were, going to be quite enjoyable. And granted, they are really enjoyable, but some of them have their flaws and their pros and their cons. But that's just how it is. That's how it is with video games. And the first game that I'm going to show is the worst game on the console, I think. ECW Hardcore Revolution. Now, some of these are loose in cases. They don't have, like, the manual and everything, but that's fine with me. This game sucks. This game is just so bad. Like, with the controller, you can't use the stick to move. You gotta use the D-pad, and if you're gonna exit the ring, you gotta use the control stick, which is so confusing. I have not played that game since, I don't know, a couple months ago. But this game can show that even, like, I like Acclaim. Like, the Acclaim company, like, that makes, I like Acclaim a lot, but they could have done so much better. Like, they had a genuinely, like, good licensed game that they could have made, and made it into, like, a really good wrestling game, like WWF No Mercy. And they didn't. And I was just so disappointed when I got this. And to me, it was a waste of, like, $5, and I regretted it. The next game is, you kind of won't want to play with the regular Dreamcast controller. I would actually recommend getting a mouse and keyboard for this game. And that is Quake 3 Arena. Yeah, I know it's a port of the PlayStation 1 game, but I love the Dreamcast version so much better. Now, I'm not a big fan of having to use mouse and keyboard, but it works well. It works perfect. I'll give it that. Quake is basically your classic first-person shooter, kind of like Doom, but it's got, like, a tournament theme and, like, a free-for-all, and, like, it's like a big tournament to, like, kill everybody, and it's pretty cool. Now, some people are gonna say, oh, why don't you include, like, some of my favorite games? Like, oh, why isn't Shenmue in there? Why not Crazy Taxi? Because those are everybody's favorite games for the Dreamcast. Granted, I love those games. I love Shenmue, I love Crazy Taxi 2, I love Shenmue 2. I love them all. But I'm not going to talk about them today. I'm just going to go with some, like, cheap games that you can get that will be enjoyable. And that's NFL 2K. Now, I already did a review on this. Like I said, this game is so much what it's worth. I would actually recommend getting the NFL 2K1 or NFL 2K2, because they are just, like, better improvements upon this game, and they just look so much better. Like, the gameplay is the same, but, like, it just looks so much better. There's so much more in the game, and, like, the visuals and the aesthetics, they look more appealing and more eye-catching than anything. Now, sports was a huge thing on the Dreamcast. Like, I just showed NFL 2K. I'm going to show NBA 2K and NBA 2K1. Doesn't matter what one you get. It doesn't matter if you get NBA 2K2. They're technically, they're all the same game. But personally, I like NBA 2K1. Yeah. Now, what amazes me is that you can play this with a keyboard, and you can go online, and this will actually take up less space on your VMU than the original NBA 2K will. And I think that's pretty good. Pretty good to me. It supports the 4X memory card, which I don't have at the moment because I just have a bunch of EMUs because I can't find any 4X memory cards anywhere online right now. Stuff is just hard to get. And if you are a hockey fan like me, you would want to go with NHL 2K. Not necessarily the first one, not necessarily the second or the third. I would just go for either one. Personally, I like this one the most. It's the classic. It's the original. Back to the basics, and it's perfect. It's I actually haven't played this in a minute. I'm actually probably after this video. I'm probably about to play this. Yeah. There's not much you can really say because I reviewed NBA 2K, I reviewed NHL 2K, I reviewed NFL 2K. If you want to watch those, I'll leave links to them in the bottom of the description. And you can watch them, go ahead, and I'll save time by not telling you these. If you are looking for, an arcade racing game, yeah, you got Crazy Taxi, yeah, you got Daytona USA, and, Sega Rally Championship 2. But personally, I gotta go with Roadsters by Tiger, I think is their name. Or no, Titus. My bad, Titus. Ugh, I said Tiger. This game is amazing. I love it. If you are looking for an original arcade racing game, Roadsters is the way to go. And boy, you will not be like upset or anything. Yeah, the controls are gonna take a while to get used to, but that's okay. There's no big problem with that. You can change the controls. You can have the steering as tight, normal, or loose. That depends upon your nature. But this is an amazing game. I would actually recommend picking this up. This is actually a really cheap game. It's like around maybe like the $13 mark, at least over $10, under $20. In between that section there. Now, for a fighting game, yes, you have Virtua Fighter 3 Team Battle. You got games like Marvel vs. Capcom and, stuff like that. So many good fighting games. Like the Dreamcast, like the 128-bit, and like how it can go 3D and use 2D planes perfectly. It is just amazing, and that's why I love the Dreamcast. And so, for a fighting game that's cheap and actually relatively good, in my opinion, is Ultimate Fighting Championship, or UFC, is what it's normally called. This is made by Crave Entertainment. A lot of the third-party support was actually made by Crave Entertainment. If you don't know that, now you know. This is actually perhaps the best fighting game on the Dreamcast, in my opinion. Now, it's only 2-player. Well, no, it's... It's 1 to 2 player, which kind of sucks, but it's a 2-player fighting game, so you can't do much about that. It takes the VGA box like all of these games do. It only takes up 12 blocks of your VMU, and it's a relatively cheap and relatively easy game to find. And this game, I love it. I play this so much. Usually it's when I want a fighting game to play, like I won't go to Mortal Kombat. I'll just go to this. Like it feels more real. I love UFC. I don't like the new UFCs that have been coming out over the past 20 years. Personally, this is my favorite by far. Now, just one little extra thing. I know we were talking about how you can go online and use the web browser. Well, I thought I would show the web browser. This has never been opened, and I actually recently just got this. This is perhaps the nicest thing in my collection. I have not opened this. I have not touched the disc. I have an extra one, but that one was the disc wasn't working a lot as much as I wanted it to, but it still allowed me to do some online capabilities. I think I had the version 2, but I can't remember. It was a while ago. I think I sold it and then got this one. And I'm going to open this just to show you guys. The web browser is basically what it is. It allows you to go on the web. Now it's got this nice orange disc. It's got a nice cover here. It's got the Dreamcast on it, and it looks so appealing. And it's wired by AT&T WorldNet service. Well, was, I should say. And this is more of like a novelty item nowadays. There's not any use to this anymore unless you got like a Dream Pi or anything like that. But there's no real use for this anymore. But I think it's pretty nice just to have, just to remind you that the Dreamcast was once relevant in its life before Sega ended up cutting support for it, which really was kind of sad, but they were running out of money, so I can't blame them. But anyways, guys, that is the Sega Dreamcast console review and retrospective. If you guys want, I will do separate reviews on these games. If you want me to, just leave a comment and I will. But yeah, that's it. Stay tuned for the next review and all that stuff, and I'll see you guys later.